Hello, Internet. This is RimWorld Alpha 2 Cannibal Modders. I'm Ty Sylvester. So I just want to show you guys the new hotness that we have in here. So it starts out with cooking. Everyone was pretty tired of eating nothing but nutrient paste all the time. So now you can actually butcher up your animals and cook them. So here I'll just make a little butcher table. I'm using God mode just to make stuff quickly. And lay out a stockpile to store all of the dead stuff that I want to butcher. Set up the storage settings to accept only what I want, including all the animal corpses, but not human corpses. And then just skip forward a bit here. So to actually say what your guys are going to butcher, you got to set up a bills, and you can configure exactly what you want in there. You can set the ingredients they're allowed to use. So I don't want them butchering people, because that leads to some pretty serious freakouts when people have to do cannibalism. And you can set, how far they're going to look away for the ingredients and how many of these things you want them to actually do. So I'm going to set them to butcher 10 corpses. I don't want them looking far away, so I'll just set the radius to 15 and let that stand there. So we actually need something to butcher. So I'm going to get Fred here, and we're going to go on a little hunting expedition. Now, currently, you still have to fight the Muffalo using the standard fighting system. There's no automatic hunting yet, but that'll come in the future. We're gonna get this Muffalo. Fred's gonna, I'm gonna prioritize Fred here to haul it back to where it needs to be and speed up time. So he brings it back to the corpse stockpile that I created previously, which is set to take all the animal corpses, of course. So then we want to make sure that someone actually has the cooking work type enabled, and all our dudes do. So one of them should get to the job pretty quickly, because butchery is considered as a kind of cooking. Looks like Leinster's going for it. See here, he's grabbing the meat, he's taking it to the table, and there's some little blood bits that fly out. And pretty soon you got some chunks of tasty, delicious Muffalo meat. But you don't want to eat raw meat all the time. So there's another stage of production here. It's the cook stove, which I've got built right there. And I'm creating a stockpile that's going to store the raw ingredients for the cook stove. And then I'll just add another build to the cook stove. And this one's going to be cook simple meal. So what that does is it takes one ingredient and it produces a basic meal from it. I'm going to let it take any of these ingredients that it can take. And then pretty soon, one of the colonists is going to grab the Muffalo meat, take it to the cook stove. There we go, Leinster's doing it. And cook up something tasty. And depending on their cooking skill, they're going to cook more efficiently. They're going to cook better. And then Fred's grabbing the meals, and he's putting them in the stockpile, which I designated for meals. So I've got a little mini production chain set up here with the corpses go in the bottom right stockpile, then they're butchered, the meat goes in the middle stockpile, and then on the left, the finished meals are stored there. And then when someone's hungry, they'll just grab a meal and take it to the table and eat it. And you can cook other types of meals too. There's fine meals, there's lavish meals. You gotta have better cooks for this, you gotta have more ingredients. So moving on, we've expanded the economy in a couple other ways. People have said there's a lot of stone that sits around you can't do anything with. So we've created this stone cutter's table, and it has a bill where you can make stone blocks. So I've set up a dumping stockpile here to take just the rock debris, and I've set up another one to take the stone blocks. And stone blocks are a building resource you can use to construct simple but strong stone objects. Now, if you're a bit of a dwarf fan, then this kind of thing might appeal to you. And it can also be used to produce the tile floors that I've got laid out there in front of the base. So here I'm marking a whole bunch of debris to get picked up, to be taken back to the appropriate stockpile. And yeah, now we'll just have to wait for a few moments there for dudes to take the debris back. Set up another stockpile with low priority to take the random slag debris that's useless to me. You can't make stone blocks out of slag. And while we're at it, why don't we talk about some of the pretty gardens I got going on here. You can now set out your growing zones in any shape you want. So here I've got a little field of dandelions. Fred is growing a row of potatoes, and I've set out just a really simple garden set up there to keep the colonists happy by giving them roses and daylilies and stuff like that to look at. So that's just another little improvement that we put in there to create more flexibility. So I want to see what people are going to make. Anyway, so I've got Orozco here, who is working on building some stone. Now, she is not skilled at crafting, which means she's going to take a long time to do this. There's a lot of skill hooks in the game that weren't there before, and some of them, or a lot of them, have to do with how effective people are at producing different things out of ingredients. So there, she's produced the stone blocks, and then promptly decided to go to bed, as colonists like to do, in her filthy room there. But anyways, we can take a look at her skills. So you can see her crafting is really poor there, and it actually reports that she's going to take 205% the time to craft. She's really good at research, so she researches at like triple speed. And all the effects of each skill are laid out here for you, and they're all data driven too, so they can be modded, as I'll explain later. But that's why she took so long to cut that stone thing. If you want to set up an economy that's focused on one kind of product, you'll develop people who are really skilled in that specific area. Just skipping forward, I've used these stone blocks to produce this stone wall, and now I'll finish it. And now the roof generates. So I had these solar panels back here, but now there's a roof generated over them, and they can't work because they're roofed over. And this was always an issue with Alpha 1 and previously. So we've created this no roof region feature where the system won't generate roofs wherever you lay this down. So now I've got a nice skylight, and the solar panels can be behind the walls and enclosed and properly protected from raiders and raging muffaloes and squirrels while still getting light from the sky. And you can set this, to be as large as you want. It will get rid of your roofs, and it will get rid of the thin rock roofs. But if there's a mountain over your head, like a thick roof, you can't get rid of that. That's permanent. So there are still limitations to this. You can't just infinitely eliminate the roof anywhere in the entire map. So I'll just clear out this little patch here, and now I have a nice walled-in area with a stone wall across the front, which we constructed out of those stone blocks, and some solar panels there. So this is going to create more options for base generation. But the last thing I want to show you guys that I'm personally most stoked about is modding. Modding is fascinating to me because I started out as a modder many years ago working on Unreal Tournament mods, and I can't wait to see what people are going to make with RimWorld. So I've been working really hard to make this easy for people to do and powerful. So all of the core content for the game is defined in a mod called Core, and you can actually go and look at it. So it's got an about that describes the mod, information about it if you're selecting it in the mod browser. It's got a set of definitions and sounds and textures. And the defs are the most interesting ones because these define the data that drive every system in the game. The concept defs, those are for the tutor. The effector defs, those are definitions of essentially particle systems. So when you see blood bits coming out of some, the butcher table as something's being butchered, that's all defined in an effector def. Hair defs, pawn kinds. Pawn kinds are things like a drifter or a pirate. Different outfits, recipes, research projects, roofs, scatterable, skills, skill needs, sounds, storytellers, terrains, things, and things is almost everything in the game. Thoughts, trader kinds, work givers, work types, these are AI directives. So let's just take a look at a test mod that I created. I called it the Royal Bed. It just adds this Royal Bed object to the game, and that's pretty much just done with this test mod buildings XML file. Here I've created this new thing definition called a Royal Bed. It's a luxurious bed fit for the highborn. It's basically the same as the bed that you can find in the core mod, but I created a new graphic, which is referenced here. I changed the size to 2x2. It takes more work to build. It costs more metal. And it's prettier. So that's it for creating new objects. There's also experimental support for adding code into the game. I'm going to solidify that for Alpha 3. But there's still tons of stuff you can do with thing definitions, component definitions. You can create entire economic chains from raw material to a new type of work table with new recipes that allow colonists to create a new process product which can then be used to build something final. So there's a lot that you can do with what's in there right now. And I cannot wait to see what people are going to come up with. Alright, so that's it. Thanks for watching the RimWorld Alpha 2 Cannibal Modders. I hope you guys check out the game. It's at rimworldgame.com. I also tweet at TynanSylvester. And we're always happy to talk to you on the forums and on Reddit. So yeah, come give us a shout, and I will see you guys later.